Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a fantastic week. I'm Jennifer Bagley with Sierra Whip Group and the 12-Step Roadmap training course. We're going to be talking a little bit about branding and high-leverage activities today. For those of you that have attended in the past 5 or 6 sessions, I think from the time we got to Oregon and went through California and wound up in Seattle, we focused on how to build a website, and we really started from the beginning and have walked through to the point of doing long tail and short tail key phrases. We have not drove completely into blogging and social media yet, but we are going to take a break, pause, and address some of the things that have been brought up from people who have attended the live webinars and also all of the attendees that watched the recorded webinar afterwards. One of the first questions that people had was about branding. And so I wanted to go over a branding matrix that's used by Tony Jerry, my business coach, as well as our own company, and hopefully this can help you in identifying who you are and what you want to be known for. We all have a brand or a reputation. Top leaders are strategic about theirs. They think about what they are, who they want to become, and they write it down and they go after that. And so I'm going to go over this chart with you. We'll also make this a homework assignment. You guys will have access to this document probably late this afternoon if you go to 12steproadmap.com. And click on webinars. On the right-hand side, you'll see a link that says homework, and we'll put this document up there so you guys can fill this out yourself. So this is definitely something you want to do in advance of building a website if possible. If you've already built the site, this really comes down to content and presence and how you're leveraging video and other things as well, and how you operate and function within your business. So I'm going to go through each one of the primary elements and give a little bit of a description. And then when you get time after the call, take a moment to pull up the branding matrix on our homework page, and I would start at the top and work my way down. Really, this is about what are you known for? And as I said, being very strategic about branding yourself. It's just a successful brand reputation reflects who you are. A brand is your unique promise. A brand is based not only on who you want to be, but it's also based on how you want to live and who you actually are and the core of how you live today. And that's in your business as well as in your life. I know that people watch me, and it's interesting when I get brand feedback. I get brand feedback constantly about the fact that we're educators, we're constantly training, we're informing and educating people, that we have top quality, high quality design work, that we care, that it's not that things don't go wrong, but if things go wrong, we always take care of whatever it is. And then we also get a lot of brand feedback about the fact that we're worldly, we travel. We have created a business and designed a business that allows us to have freedom in our lives and the freedom to do business from anywhere. And I know people recognize us for that. Sometimes that plays it for us, and sometimes it plays against us, but it's who we are. So that's important. So same thing for you. What's important to your prospective client? Chances are it's not always about making money. People want to do business with people that they trust. People also want to do business with people who they respect. I know that we tend to attract a lot of individuals who are seeking freedom in their life, are seeking a more quality lifestyle with their family, in addition to growing their business, building a brand, making more money. And they've seen that we've done that in our own business, and they want to repeat that in their own. They want more choice. I'll say that. I have people ask me all the time, why do you do what you do? It's because I want the freedom to choose. They say, oh, I know, but ultimately, what is your end goal? The freedom to choose. I have no clue where I want to be in 10 years from now. That's a long time these days. But I do know that I want the freedom to choose. It's thinking about, how can you convey that you're the one that's going to get the job done? Everybody has specific values that are important to them. Sometimes it's follow-up, communication. Sometimes it's relationship building. I know in our business we have to be very careful in identifying and looking at the personality profile of who we're doing business with. In our world, we have a very technical business. So those of you that are on the call that may be more of a high D, in the DISC assessment, that's someone who's very sharp decision maker. They don't like a lot of detail. If we bore a high D with a tremendous amount of detail, then we're probably going to lose them. And on the flip side, if we take someone who is more of an analytical personality and we're flighty, or we don't have all the details, or we're not logistically organized, or we're not operationally sound, then we're going to lose them. And so most people tend to make their decisions on their brand based on simply what they like, and it's important to consider what other people like as well. You guys, real quick, I'm going to do a mic check. I want to just double check that you guys can hear me. If you'll type in the right-hand corner and let me know if you guys can hear me, that would be great. The chat box is on the right-hand side. Fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. All right, excellent. So understanding what's important to other people, what do they value, and build your brand authentically. One of the hardest parts is being who you say you are. Many times, people will go research other people's websites, and they'll pick out the top 5 key phrases or taglines that represent another company, and they'll simply put those onto their own website, but not necessarily embody that in their own work style or in their team's own work style. I know you've got on an airplane and met with or seen a flight attendant that maybe was on a Southwest Airlines flight, and they were having a bad day, or they didn't seem like they loved their job. And Southwest has this just amazing culture, and when an individual doesn't embody the brand of an organization, it definitely stands out. The unfortunate part is it also makes you have, as a consumer, a specific opinion about a particular brand. As an entrepreneur, what makes you stand out from everyone else? We really have to think about it. For example, if you're a realtor, what separates you from the rest of the pack? Are you a luxury home seller? Do you focus on houseboats and vessels? I'll tell you just a quick scenario as an example. My parents, Kevin and Linda Bagley, if you guys follow me on Facebook, you probably know who they are by name and by sight. They have built a business to where they are the largest brand in the Seattle Metroplex that is known for houseboats, vessels, and lakefront properties. And liveaboards. And so in their business, they're in an interesting position. They have an extremely successful business in that niche market. They've built a brand. They have Seattle-houseboat.com. They're writers for the Seattle PI on the houseboat section. My father is featured regularly on HGTV's Houseboat channel. We've done a tremendous marketing job in getting PR and third-party news and media sites to pick them up on different shows and radio shows, talk shows, very politically active. They're on the board of directors for Lake Union Liveaboard Association, which is another client of ours. And so we've done an incredible job. We chose probably, I want to say it was about 5 years ago, to really, really focus and niche their marketing effort in that niche. And it's served them well. It absolutely has served them well. However, their business has grown, and they're in a position where they can handle more business, and they really want to be able to concentrate on traditional homes and homes with acreage, which is going to require a brand change. So if you're on my Facebook, you can check out, we purchased a premium domain name called SeattleRealEstateMarket.com. It's an awesome domain. We just designed the homepage for their site, and SeattleRealEstateMarket.com is now their new brand. So they have an existing brand, and they have the ability to maintain that niche and really stand out in that niche. And then in addition to that, they're going to have another brand which focuses on the Seattle real estate market, everything from events, living in Seattle, jobs in Seattle, what to do in Seattle, and everything else. And they're going to make that into its own brand. So you have the ability to have multiple brands. And I'm giving you this as an example because of how critical it is to, let me mute real quick, because of how critical it is to choose something that stands out, something that people can identify with, and something that makes you stand out from from the crowd. Marketing your brand to clients and creating that brand is just important as defining your business processes, establishing communication protocols, creating your technology, your marketing, and sales. And so this needs to be something that's very carefully thought out. No matter what your brand is, I make sure you're known as someone who follows through. It doesn't matter what ventures have entered over the years. There's always a big difference between people with integrity and people without integrity. The ones with integrity are the ones that people want to do business with. That's consistent, obviously, across all industries. There was a verse in Isaiah that I wanted to read. I don't normally do this, but it says, but the noble man devises a noble plan, and the noble plan he stands. I bring that up because whatever you promise in your website is what you have to deliver. So when I sit down with a client, we're having a design brief meeting, I can't promise there's not going to be issues or delays or life doesn't happen or I had one of my development team's entire country shut down every business in the middle of a work week because of a political issue. I can't say that there won't be delays, but what I can say is that if and when there are issues or delays or something happens, we will always make up for it. We will always account for it. We will always take care of it. So again, it's devising a plan and stand by that plan. You've got to be noble in what you are communicating on your website. You've got to be the one that people trust. Loyalty, trust, and nobility go a long way in making your business grow. Think of it this way. When you're in an important presentation against your competitor, if you don't know your prospect and they don't know you, it comes down to who they feel they can trust. And that is going to be done in a presentation that's face-to-face. It's going to be done in a presentation that's over the phone. And you better bet these days people are validating who they're talking to by doing research online. They're validating by who has a more professional brand, who has a more professional website, who has customer testimonials, who looks more transparent in the way that they do business and your ability to communicate with them. Are you reachable? Is there a phone number at the top of the website? Do you have a social media account? Are you active on it? Are you posting content on it? Are people communicating with you on it? There's so many different variables when it comes to people emotions and how they feel about who you are and whether they should do business with you. It's very, very important. I know in my business, most of the time, by the time my phone rings, somebody already knows who we are, what our kids' names are. They know about my family. They know about our last 3 or 4 trips that we've taken. They have done enough research that not only have they dug into our corporate profile and they know what services and products and all of the things that we do professionally, but in addition to that, they know who we are. And this level of transparency in your business is critical. Many of you are working on the last couple trainings where you're working on devising or creating all of your static blog posts, all your static sales pages with your short tail key phrases, and you're working on the top 10 questions people ask from a blog standpoint for your long tail searches, and you're focused very, very a lot of attention on these foundational things, and these are critical. So I'm not putting this before. Those things have to get done. You have to have 1 page per short tail key phrase, and you've got to have 1 incredible article per question that you know consumers are asking about your products or services. That's first and foremost. Put that to the side. Now, in addition to that, being transparent, allowing people into your business. If you throw a company party, take pictures. If you're featured in a media event, take pictures. You, depending on the size of your company, if you're a corporation and you have multiple team members, then you need to be able to assign a role to someone in the company that becomes the documentarian. It's their job to document the highs. It's their job to document the parties and the thank you gifts, the company gags, the corporate office gags, and so forth. But to really become more transparent, it really comes down to the way you've built and communicated your brand. People want to be confident that they're not going to be misled, they're not going to be stabbed in the back, that you know what you're doing, that you're professional. They want to know that they're spending their money wisely and they're investing in good people, not necessarily in just a good company. So make sure that your brand is based on nobility, not just about your marketing achievements or your awards. All right, with that dissertation, I'm going to run through the branding matrix and kind of give you a description of each one. So the first one is brand description. If you were asked right now, or if I unmuted any of you that are attending the conference live, I was to ask you, what is the essence of your brand positioning? Give me 10 to 20 words that summarize who you are and how you're positioned. And when you say it, does it feel intriguing to you? Does it evoke emotion in you as well? So I'm curious. You don't have to answer. I'm not going to unmute any of you and go through that, but if you wouldn't mind, if you feel like you have an incredibly good brand description, then write yes in the chat box. If you feel like it needs some work, then write no. And the chat box is on the right-hand side. I'm just curious. And this will help us with being able to help you as well. Next is core value proposition. What are the core characteristics that are valuable to your effectiveness? What are your core value propositions? Next is going to be business priorities. What parameters and priorities for how you operate on a daily basis, i.e., what matters most? What matters most? Many of you have heard me talk about high leverage activities. We're gonna wrap this call up with talking about high leverage activities, outsourcing, and delegation as well, because we've got to be able to make time for those things that are most important. So in your business, what are those business priorities? What is most important? Next, I would ask that you describe a list that is about you. What would you say are the key phrases that represent your company? Depending on the size of the company, this may be a global brand, this may be departmentalized, but we've got to make sure that there's a consistent feeling throughout the company of who we are. My guess, if you asked anybody in our company, including our we just hired 2 new social media strategists, I believe that anyone in our company would probably list out the same 10 to 20 phrases as far as who we are and what we represent. Most importantly, our new hires do so much research on our company before they even come to work for us. When I ask them during an interview, why do you want to work here? What do you see? Who do you see us as? The consistency that I get in between each one of their comments and phrases is the exact same if they haven't even started with our company as it is if for someone who's been with our company for 10 years. They can see it, they can feel it in our culture, they can feel it within different members of the organization and within our work. Next, who are you not? Characteristics that do not describe you. So you might not be the cheapest. You might not be the fastest. You may put more quality in. You may have higher fees. But what are the things that would describe you or would not describe you? Next, uniqueness. What truly makes you unique? What are the distinctions that separate you in your niche? If you go to 100 websites or 50 websites or 5 websites and there's all the same industry, same type of company as yours, what are the things that make you stand out as being unique? And that's very important as well. Next, if you were to look at the packaging of your business, what are the tools and arsenal you have to package and market your business? So this may be your websites, your social media accounts, your business cards. You may have digital video, presentations. How is that brand communicated, and is it consistent across all mediums? So if you are a company that has trucks, for our HVAC companies that are on here, is it a very, very clear brand in between your website, through your trucks, through your logo that's on the T-shirts of all your installers, and so forth? Next, visual image and physical appearance. Describing what does that image look like? What is your brand? Many times when we're sitting down to do a website project, we'll ask somebody, can we have your brand guidelines? And all too often, the answer is, what is that? And I really have to throw this out there. Your brand deserves to have a guide. It deserves to have a set of guidelines that clearly and distinctly set the rules for how people can use your logo, what color schemes can you use, what are the HTML color codes for anything digital, if somebody's going to use your logo, what formats can your logo be used in, and so forth. So making sure that you have a distinct brand guideline. And then also, if you were to look at your own image and you were to step out of your own business, and this is especially hard, we'll switch gears from the larger companies and move to the little guys. For smaller companies or for solopreneurs, one of the hardest things that they have to do is to move out of their own way. Many times they have built their website themselves. They let their parents build their website. They let their friend build a website, or their kids. Maybe they hired a family member to pull it together. And it feels like it looks good, but when you compare it to a professionally designed site or a professional brochure or a professionally done business card versus a Vistaprint business card, or versus your own hand custom designed business card that you did on Sunday night, all of these things matter, especially when you're in competition. Consumers have choices, and they are going to evoke emotions based on the visual appearance of your brand and your company and your team and yourself. And so it's very important to make sure that it looks professional. I would say that's first and foremost most important out of anything. Next, what is your mission statement? What drives your decisions? Do you have a mission statement? Have you thought about, as an organization, as a team, what drives your decisions? Are all the business units and leadership on the same page? Do you have a cascading strategic plan for disseminating that mission and that vision and that brand throughout your organization or company? Next is going to be brand power. What is the thrust behind your reputation? Think about it. What is the thrust behind your reputation? How do you have brand power? And this can change. In the beginning, I will say that we got a serious kick in the butt from a brand thrust standpoint from Tony Jerry's endorsements. I would say probably 6 years ago, Tony Jerry fell in love with our company and endorsed us continuously over and over and over again. And we needed that to move into the next realm. Now our brand is from our work. Our work speaks for itself. That's our brand power, is that we've got world-class custom designs. So it's our work and the results that are produced as well. Next is your tagline. Usually when I ask a company, do you have a tagline? The answer is no. So this needs to be based on, what is your mission? What are your decisions? What are your core value propositions? What is your brand description? So creating a tagline that is catchy and people can remember. Our tagline is simple. It's 4 words: technology, strategy, network, and behavior. And some people always exchange out mindset and behavior, which is fine with me. Next, positioning. What are the roles within your market as well as within your organization? Who's working on what? A lot of times people build a website and they forget that it requires collaboration in between your agency and you. So identifying, and this will go into HLAs, and we'll talk about delegating as well. But at some point, you should have a list of what are all the high leverage activities that are necessary to be able to build a brand, improve a website's ranking positioning on Google, what's necessary to build a fan base on your social media accounts, what's necessary to increase engagement and improve your edge rank on your social accounts, what's necessary to start converting. And in the digital marketing world, that's a big pill to swallow for many people. There are so many activities and necessary things that have to happen in order to continue to progress. Sometimes we lose sight of those because we want immediate results. In this situation, immediate results are slim to none. They don't exist. If you're competing for a page 1 listing in a drawer that has 1 million or 3 million or 100 million or 200 million or more other people all competing for a page one listing is not going to happen overnight. So I equate this to somebody going to the gym and making it a New Year's resolution to work out. When someone's getting their website and they're starting to attend training, they're excited and they're amped up about wanting to be able to make this work. They want their website to start bringing in revenue. They want their phone to start ringing, and they go into it all out, just like they would if they had a New Year's resolution to lose weight or to get fit. And next thing you know, 3 months later, the gym parking lot is empty. Well, the same thing happens often in marketing, so I like to bring it up in advance. This is a lifestyle. For those of you that are attending, hopefully you're in some kind of a marketing role where you're passionate about marketing. If you are the business owner and you're also responsible for marketing or doing the activities that are necessary to compete digitally, that's when it can become a challenge. And so I implore you not to give up and to realize that you have a long stretch of road ahead of you to position yourself properly. You got to go from zero to hero, and imagine a race, and there's millions or hundreds of thousands of people that are in front of you, and you're just trying to get to the front of that pack. You're going to have to run consistent, run hard, and not quit. Breaks and so forth are going to delay you. This is a big race to the front, and it requires some assistance. So being able to really outline what is necessary in the market, who are all the players in the market, and what is the positioning as far as within your organization, who's going to be responsible for what, who's going to be dedicated to producing content or just managing outsourcing. We have some clients that are 100% managed by us. We generate the content, we write the content, we do the blog post, we optimize the blog post, we do the social media posts, we monitor the social media channels, we build engagement, we build the fan page, we do everything. So the only thing in that environment is they have to have still, there's got to be someone internally that is providing strategic guidance when a new product launches, when they get asked to be in a new media publication, when there's new media that needs to be marketed, when there's a big event, a new hire, someone new comes into the company that we need to promote, there's a new salesperson, a new division, we open up a new channel, we open up a new marketplace. So it really depends on the scale of your business, and obviously we can scale that same philosophy applies to a company of one as it does apply to a company of 100. All right, next. We talked about, let's see here, business motto. What is your statement of approach to business life? What is your business motto? Next, what people think of you. My perception of how I am perceived. And that's a good exercise to go to. I know that I know what people think of me, good, bad, and indifferent. And that's a good exercise. If you want to alter the way that people perceive you, then it doesn't start with them, it starts with you. And so if I want to alter the fact that people, when I get on stage, think I talk too fast, then it's not about them listening faster so I don't have to slow down so they can catch up. It's about me slowing down and being able to identify. And I'll tell you, just as a good example on changing other people's perception, which you're technically not changing other people's perception, you're only changing you, which ultimately reflects in a new perception from someone else. And that, by the way, that's life. That is, the way you see the world is not the way it is, but rather the way you are. Change the way you are, and the world around you changes. So same thing in marketing. It's identical, personally, professionally, and so forth. Tony Jerry gave me a challenge a while back. He said, okay, we've looked at all these reviews from all your speaking events, and all of them say the same thing. It's all 5 stars or, 10 out of 10s, but your feedback that you get always says too fast. And if you ever get anything that's lower than a 10, then it's going to say, what could you have done to improve it? And it's going to say, well, she talks too fast. So 50% of the room thinks I talk too fast. 50% of the room was like, wow, enthusiastic, powerful, engaging, this is amazing, woohoo! And they're so excited. However, my goal for me personally, because I want 87% of everything to be perfect. I'm okay with the last 13 not being perfect, but I want 87% to be perfect. So he said, all right, what are you going to do to change it? You're going to have to get 87% of the room to give you all 10s and not put on there too fast. So I started throwing in personality profiles, and I did a quick personality profile at the beginning of every presentation, separated and segregated the room by D's, I's, C's, and S's. If you're familiar with the DISC profile, we're going to be talking about that in upcoming trainings, but I moved everybody into their quadrant. All the D's and I's, everybody that's an influencer and a decision maker versus a supporter and a more analytical person, or controller, you should say. I moved all the support people and the analytical people, and I moved them onto the left side of the room, and I moved all of my influencers, which are my kind of flighty friends, social butterflies, and my high Ds, which are quick decision makers, a little bit more stern in their thought processes, control freaks sometimes, and so forth. I moved them to the right side of the room. I started delivering my presentations where when I spoke right, I spoke very fast, very sharp. I would kind of, snap or get people thinking quickly. And then when I moved left, I took a big, deep breath, I drank some water, and I slowly went through the material in a different light. And literally over around the 6-month period was able to change from a 50-50 split on what people thought to over 90% of the room and the audience gave me a straight 10 with no comments about needing to slow down. So I say that because it's important to think, or it's important to understand, what do people think of you. Kathy Marshall took a sales call the other day. I have thousands and thousands of calls that people trying to sell our company services or trying to get jobs. And she took a call, and it was interesting because after she took the call, she sent a message, and she sent it to Teams. She said, hey, you guys, we're getting a lot of solicitation from this one company. They're pretty high pressure. She said, here's my top 3 bullet points from my interactions with them. I think one of them was they need sales training 101. One of them is that they don't listen and they talk too fast. And she just went through these bullet points, and it really made me think, gosh, I would hate to have that perception of my company. And so I would pause long enough and make that list of, what do you believe that people think of you? Next, what people are missing. What are your beliefs about what other people are misunderstanding about you or not getting? Do you have that list clear in your head? You want your brand or your company to be known for something, but what are people really not getting? It's important to make that list as well. It'll help you with your goals. Next, what are the attributes that are prized in your workplace? What attributes do you possess in your market or your organization that the consumer base, or that the market or at your marketplace or your customers think the most of? What are the prized attributes that you have? What are the things that when you hear people talk about you, those are the top 3 things if they were to refer somebody to you, that they would say who you are and what you do. Mine have changed over the years, and I've deliberately tried to change them. Now I am hearing, when I see somebody send a referral, they'll write, I just got 3 of them yesterday, they'll write in the body or the content of the text that we have the highest quality design, the best results in the quickest amount of time for the most reasonable price. And then I had someone wrote yesterday, other agencies would charge $40,000 to $50,000 for the type of quality and the speed that they produce their sites. So I drew a triangle when I went through this, and in the triangle I wrote speed, quality, and price. And those were the 3 things. If you're a project manager or you've been through project management school, they will tell you that is impossible to hit all 3. And now companies obviously are doing that. That's ancient material as far as content goes. Companies are hitting those three, but that was a goal to me, is I wanted to make sure that those three things were something that people knew us for. All right, next. Passions. What are you passionate about? What do you love? I obviously love growing companies. I love growing businesses. The more involved I become with the business, the more into it I am as well. So I have some relationships with companies where we have a stake in their business. I have some relationships with people where we have profit sharing. We have a lot of different kind of relationships. So for me, something that I love is I love making businesses successful. I love growing businesses. But what are you passionate about in your business? Next, and we've got 4 more. Top communication opportunities. What are the top communication opportunities that you have where your brand is impacted? So one is going to be online. Your brand is heavily impacted online, and you don't even get to see the facial expression from someone that goes to your website or what they do. But whether it's meetings or presentations or speaking events or video or your mobile app or your website, what are those top communication opportunities? Next, where is your audience and prospects? Who are those that I want to impact? So identifying where are they, what do they like, what do they do. I had a meeting yesterday with Dr. Tiffany, one of our clients, and I loved it when I said, tell me about your audience. Who do you do business with? She didn't give me a list and say everybody. She's a holistic veterinarian. She didn't give me a list and say everybody who owns a pet. She literally rambled off this list of like 300 things. These are people who take their pets on vacation. These are people who spend 2 to 3% of their income on their pets. These are also people who shop at Trader Joe's. These are people who hired pet sitters or used pet daycares. She went through this list, and it was massive. And I had to commend her for knowing who her customers are. And it wasn't that she said, again, people who own pets. That's normally the answer. So when I say who your ideal client is, usually it's homeowners, residential, and business owners, commercial. But she really, really knew who her customer base was. I love also at the fact at the very end of the training, she paused for a moment and she said, but the customers that I don't know are the ones that would be coming from the internet, and I don't know because I'm not properly marketing there, so I'm not getting those clients, so I don't know who they are, and I'd really like to find out. Great, let's get this thing built. All right, next, 2 more. One is external barriers. These are real-world roadblocks. Real-world roadblocks. These are not fictitious things. These are not things that are mindset challenges, but these are real-world roadblocks. Things that you've got to be able to pull down. This may be compliance challenges. This may be this cannot be a global statement, as in the economy is not doing well. So we need to be definitely more specific. In my world, while the economy was tanking, our business was growing substantially. Most of the millionaires have grown businesses throughout a recession. That's when the biggest brands were built as well. So I want to make sure that we don't ever allow the economy or a world change like that to be something that's identified as an external barrier, because you can work around that, definitely. Next is going to be internal barriers. These are self-imposed roadblocks. So here, and we'll kind of wrap it up with this. Here are some pointers on the self-imposed roadblocks. And I'm going to list the ones that I'm most familiar with from the thousands of business owners that I talk to on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. What I see is, first and foremost, is a negative mindset. A woe is me, oh my gosh, everything's always negative, instead of a solution-oriented, positive mindset. The worst thing you can do for your business is have a negative mindset. Surround yourself with negative people. Absolutely the worst thing you could do. Next, as far as self-imposed barriers, just giving examples, is that's not going to work for my industry. That is I'm not going to label what that is. I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to put it on the top 3 list, definitely top 10 list of self-imposed barriers, is thinking this cannot work for me. No, it hasn't worked for you because you haven't done it right. But please trust that I don't think any business gets a pass for whether their audience is in the digital space. I'll say that. The next self-imposed is not outsourcing the proper activities or not spending your time on the proper activities, which is, as I said, I'd wrap it up with this, high leverage activities, making a list of what are the things that only you can do and outsourcing the rest. Making a list of only the things you can do and outsourcing the rest. When you get to a point where you become a delegator, it is the most addicting thing in my soul. And high achievers are delegators. Tammy Kling, high achiever, massive delegator. Tony Jerry, high achiever, massive delegator. And when I say high achiever, I don't mean that they've created a persona that they're a high achiever, which there are more of those than there are high achievers. There are more people that have created a brand that makes them look 1,000 times bigger than they are. However, the ones who are true high achievers, and they earned it, it wasn't handed to them, it wasn't given to them, they are delegators. They know very clearly what are the high leverage activities to help me achieve my goals, and this requires complete clarity in what you want, the ability to focus on those things that are going to take you there, and consistent execution. However, they're constantly identifying what can I delegate. In my world, it's the same thing. I'm not going to clean my own house. I'm not going to, and this, some of you might take this crazy, but to me, these are my hours. These are my time. I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time traveling. I want to spend time growing our business and growing other people's business. And so anything that doesn't fall in one of those, I've got to figure out how I can get somebody else to do it. So whether it's cleaning my house, doing my laundry, doing our yard work, if it is posting content to our social media sites, I don't do that. That's my team that does that. Writing content, not going to do that. Did I? Absolutely. You have 2 things to weigh. I have more time or more money. So I often spend money I don't have in order to create more time and more money in the future. So think about that. I spend money I don't have yet in order to do the activities that are necessary to create more income so that I have more time. So I will invest in something that I don't know if I have the funds to do because I know that it's an activity that's going to help me grow my business. And I do it consistently. Throughout the years, I went from building websites myself all the way through other people building them, other people doing the content. So if you're a marketer for a company, never be concerned about delegating or outsourcing, because there's always going to be something that only you can do. For example, I'm going to use Meredith. You're in a great position. You're in a marketing position for a mid-sized company. And if you were spending your time writing content, then you may not have time for other activities such as creating unique promotions, creating unique contests, bringing more personal engagement from the company into the marketing team, but things that we can't see. So if we were writing content for you, or if we were designing pages for you, or if we were doing your posting for you, there are other things that you could be spending your time on, and then combined, jointly, we provide more value as a team. So I'm just using these as examples, but you want to become addicted to delegating the things that anybody can do or that other people are better at, and you want to be very, very focused and maintain your objective and remove as many distractions as possible on doing the things that only you can do. The better you get at that, I love spending money on people. I love it. I love finding a quality resource. We just brought on 2 new social media guys. One of them we've never had, which I'm so excited. We've never had a social media graphics designer. I didn't even know there was a social media graphics designer, but what he does is design header image banners, graphics, promotional images, and so forth for social media accounts. I love investing in people who are going to take care of an activity that has to get done for me on a regular basis. And quite frankly, I'm not good at it. I can do it. I have done it. I'm sure you see posts where you see my son in a picture and it says football and I put a quote on there and I really gave it my best shot. However, I don't want to do that. So, again, limiting beliefs is typically going to surround how you think and how you spend your time, possibly who you spend your time with, and who you listen to. And those things are typically the culprits of a lack of success or not moving as quickly as you want to into the position that you want to be in. So with that, I hope that this is helpful. I know I went a little bit over. Just to recap, we've went through design, development. We've talked a little bit about SEO. We went through content that's necessary for your primary key phrases, identifying your primary key phrases, geography-based searches, how to win in Google's mind, and then we've also talked a little bit about social. We took this break to talk a little bit about brand. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Who are you now? And how to take all of those things and really wrap it into the essence of your marketing in the format of content, design, as well as video and other types of marketing mediums. With that, you guys, I appreciate your time today. If you've missed any of the trainings, you can definitely get those. You can get them by going to 12steproadmap.com/webinar. To all of you that attended live, I love you. Thank you so much. Also, I know we have a new website that went live from someone on the call. Foltz Heating is the newest site from someone that's attending live. So, Linda, thank you so much for joining today and everyone else. And I look forward to seeing you on next week's call. Have a very productive week, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks again.